The hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
All right, so today is the 13th of May, 2025. Good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Good Morning Ghana. Today, we're happy that you're loyal patron of the show, and together we can build it. We want to say a big thanks to the Almighty God for keeping us alive and kicking. We're back again to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are going around in this country. My name once again is Aldo Moore. It's a pleasure coming your way. I'll start with the front page stories in the various newspapers that we have received this morning. Daily Graphic is reporting, it says, First Lady's Mother's Day touch. Citi's appreciation against dollar. Price reduction will take time. Professor Gachi, GNC, CIA, AGI call for sustainability. Sami Jenfi appears before presidency over Agrada dollar gift. Haptel at 20 utilize digital innovation to create employment for youth. That's according to Minister. The Ghanaian Times, father jailed 10 years for impregnating 15-year-old daughter. Is sick. Anyway, that's at AU Debt Summit. Free Africa of Debt Crisis, President Mahama. Daily Guide, Chief of Staff grills Sami Jenfi over dollar splash. Minority calls for his head. U.S. court cuts announces $18 million award against Kennedy to $500. Man arrested with ammunition talisman. Dr. Alex Dade grabs Millennium Excellence Award. The Insight, NPP 2024 defeat. Ex-minister dismisses criticisms against Akufo-Addo. Tama MC nomination. Assembly members honor Speaker Bagwin with Ebi Bright endorsement. Gold Board is sole authority for gold trading, says NDC's Joseph Yamin. Energy and Finance ministers take bold steps for the construction of Ghana's second gas processing plant as Cosmos Energy pledges $2 billion investment in petroleum sector. Dr. Ernesto Forisapong honored for outstanding entrepreneurship and social impact at MEA Awards. Greater Accra endless chieftaincy dispute, why police and judicial corruption forms part. Haruna Dusu is right. Renaming universities matter. Rashad Abdullahi writes. The National Enquirer, accept blame for debt crisis. Mahama admonishes African leaders, calls for stronger oversight and reforms. Prang Hene pleads Mahama. That's Daniel Sijima, a timeless ode to motherhood by Togbi Africa. Halts scaring businessmen. NDC Greater Accra organizers to state agencies. Construction of second gas processing plants. John Jenapo Atofos inaugurate technical committee. Military training for national service personnel set for August 2025. Daily Post, Finance and Energy Ministers inaugurate implementation committee for Ghana's second gas processing plant. Lordina Mahama clears medical bills of women on admission at Kolebu maternity wards. Sami Jenfi Agrada matter is a much ado about nothing. Martin Webu. Economy Times, blooming economy boosted investor confidence. Mahama extolled amidst call for sustained gains. City rebounds from world's west to best performing currency. Ghana to lose out on oil revenue for 2025 as global forecast price falls below $65 per barrel. The New Republic, government kicks off $400 second gas plant. Mohammed's generosity praised by Health Alliance. Ghana's iconic Nzulezu village under threat of collapse. MPP in trouble as social media turns red. Government may be seeking IMF program flexibility, S&P, ahead of 2026. Ahead of 2026 exits. That's in today's Business and Financial Times. Says, what is vectorization in fintech? Alexa Powdade, honored by pioneering leadership and transformational business impact. There's also Crawley Aviation Consults launched to strengthen aviation industry. MPS Terminal 3 welcomes record-breaking ultra-large vessels. Anglo Gold Ashanti reports 764% profit surge in Q1 2025. 22.5 million loss annually to unchecked rubber exports. So these are the front page stories of the various newspapers we received this morning. I'll be right back with my guests who are already seated. Please stay with us.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
Repacho Bantama.
Matasi.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me, Gidi said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
Guys, Kia, Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasa. Kile hosing. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to Kawen Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Fire pomudi ni agobi Ghana fueni age efri say ya your local spices na ya frafra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me dey go me jollof mu ni me still ahodoma e ma ne dance
Stanley, the barbecue they go on.
sankofa natural spices and one you use 100% natural.
Adofo, mamunye huge mistake. Sankofa natural spices. The
FDA
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us JC lecture and the capsules. Aye num boom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Na ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya, we be boa wo kunu. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya na ni ntisese ni oyi chokwa. GC mixture and castle. Achesa.
A painful about one more menu for one and Quada when if you do me. Achesa.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kids Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kids, happy smile.
All right, you're live. Good morning, Ghana on Metro Television. And well, this show is also live on 94.1. That's on your radio dial. So for those of you who would want to monitor or follow keenly the discussion that takes place here, please tune to 94.1 FM and you would hear or you'll be able to monitor the conversation that takes place here. I know you don't want to miss a minute or second of the show. And so we're giving you an alternative for you to sort of an alternative for you to try, just in case you have to leave the comfort of your homes. Let me just say that there are two very important organized companies that are proudly associated with the Good Morning Ghana program. And I start with Polytank, my favorite Polytank. Now, Charlie, you know what? This is Ghana. You only get deceived if you're not sure of what you're buying or you don't really know how the market works. Now, when it comes to water storage, tanks, the name we all know is Polytank. It has been with us for 30 years and more and has been trusted by all these generations. So make no mistake, always choose Polytank for guaranteed quality. It's available at the same price across the country at Polytank partner shops. Be it Rambo, Hippo, Sumo, or Super Sumo, durability is always assured. Polytank, the original, always the best. Papano, Ankasa. I'm talking about Polytank. So, and again, Polytank does not request for Momo payment online, so buyers beware. And also, Blue Jeans Energy Drink. Yes, I'm reminding you this morning to go and get a taste of Blue Jeans Energy Drink. Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains several nutrients, B3, B6, B12, there's taurine, there's guarana, and all these nutrients are known to boost your strength and your energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. So Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested, it's been tried, and we know and we can testify that it is indeed the best. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 05500100000, 05500100000, and also 02081281190, So that's Blue Jeans energy drink. So joining me this morning, it's one of the youth activists of the NDC, and he's been at the forefront of youth activism for a very long time. And he is a member of he's a businessman and a member of the NDC's communications. I'm talking about Wonder Madilo. Wonder Madilo, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, very good morning to you.
He's also a former Luke's president. Yes, I like to add that all the time. Former Luke's president. Yes. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, how's it going? How's life generally treating you?
Well, Moro, once we have life, there's hope, and we're very positive, especially when you have a government that cares. We're very positive that your fortunes will get better in terms of business, in terms of personal relations, in terms of the country as a whole. And so we are all in positive and trusting God for a better day, a better year, and many more years to come.
Are you still I'm not to be asking you whether you're expectant, because I've had conversations with some persons in some quarters who were wondering. For the last time you appeared on the show, there was a gentleman who called and asked why you hadn't received your green or white letter, and I said, well, that's not for me to explain. Are you one of those who's also looking forward to being given any kind of an appointment?
No, I mean, if you are called to serve your country, that's a blessing, and it's an opportunity to serve. And in all humility, you would serve. But then it's not something you demand or ask for and think you are entitled and all that. So it's not been part of my, as it were, entitlement to even be dreaming of. If it comes, why not? If it doesn't, life would certainly go on. It's an opportunity given to serve. So this is not something, it's not an election or a choice to make or not to make. This is entirely the decision of the appointing authority, and we must also be guided by what does God also want for you. So.
Now, apparently, we're having some challenges with your sound, so we'll sort it out. Apparently, the last 2 minutes when you were submitting or when you were talking, you were making a public commentary, you were not clear, and so we'll sort it out ASAP. But whilst at it, let me just say that the president is at. In fact, he left Togo yesterday. He's on his way to another African country. But whilst at it, the minority has been raising some concerns about the absence of the president, who is out of town. The vice president is also out of town. Obviously, she's seeking medical care. The Speaker of Parliament is also out of town. And now we have the acting Chief Justice. Now, the acting Chief Justice has not been sworn in yet as the president, or so, not the president, but the acting, president of the country. And the minority held a news conference yesterday where they were basically complaining that the country doesn't have a leader as we speak, and they think that it actually constitutes a constitutional breach. What do you have to say about these concerns that have been raised by the minority?
Well, sincerely, if you ask me, there are a lot of things we need to fix about our constitution. From Articles 59, 60, 61, you would find instructions on what happens if the president is resigned, ill, having to travel outside of the country and all that. And the procedure is clear that the president will have to write formally to inform the speaker and in his absence, the vice president takes over. And then in the absence of the vice president and the president, at the same time, then the speaker takes charge. And then also there are also provisions that says that in the absence of the speaker also, the chief justice takes over. Indeed, yes, we have an acting chief justice. Even though he's in an acting capacity, he has full, authority to act for and on behalf of the state at all times. And so I really do not think that it's a difficult situation having an acting chief justice being in charge of the country. I mean, the position of the Constitution is very clear. I know in one of the Tiba's rendition of what happens when the president is out of the country, he tried to say that the president must be in the jurisdiction to, so as it were, be addressed as such and to act as such. In other sense, if he's out of the country, then he cannot be acting for and on behalf. And a lot of people have raised questions, including myself, about that position. Why? Because when the president is out of the country, he's out on an official assignment. He still remains the president of the republic. He hasn't resigned. He's not incapacitated. He's not been stopped from doing his work. And so in the day of technological advancements, especially for a government that is championing e-governance and all that stuff, I think that being in the jurisdiction or not within the jurisdiction does not take away his powers as president. He could still give instructions and things will be done as it were. So there's no vacuum being left at this point. And we could not also have envisaged that a day like this was going to come. The vice president has been out of town for a couple of weeks because of a situation. And then the president has to make official travels, which is something that you would know ahead of time. However, the speaker also has some other responsibilities to undertake. And so there may be clash of programs, but we still have a judiciary functioning. Is the minority saying that because the president is out of the country, so the chief of staff has gone to sleep, ministers have gone to sleep, appointees have gone to sleep, and nothing is happening? In fact, that is not the case. In fact, even in the absence of the speaker himself, they have other people in acting capacity, especially the deputy speakers and all that. So this business about thinking that it's just an remoted environment where once somebody, a figurehead, is not available, so then the business of governance comes to a halt, I think it's neither here nor there. We are advancing as a country. I have seen other countries where everybody's traveled, but the work is going on. We pray for the peace, in our country, in order to run the country. But to assume that because the president is out, the speaker is out, then suddenly Ghana is an orphan country, I don't think that is right. In fact, when we send some of these signals, rather, it's not good for our investor environment. It's also not good for the optics when it comes to all these difficulty we have with security around the sub-region, with all these dissident groups and all that. And so we are not sending the right signal. And think that we should know that even in the absence of the president as commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, there's a CDS in place. There's work going on. The police commander is still in place. The various arms of governance is in place. And these are the things that when Obama came to this country was advocating for, that have strong institutions. Once the institutions are functional, you don't need figureheads to determine what happens and what doesn't happen. So I do not agree with them. Yes, it might be a constitutional issue, but indeed it's not a practicable issue to say that Ghana has ground to a halt.
Well, Ghana may not have grounded to a halt, but the concern still remains, which is who is the leader of this country as we speak?
The Chief Justice in
but the
that
acting
capacity.
Chief Justice has not been sworn in yet.
Yeah, I do agree.
So my point is, until the Dateba decision, which you mentioned, which is a very important one, until that decision is reversed by the same Supreme Court, what it means is that that decision holds. The president is not in town. And per the Dateba ruling, once the president is not in town, he's out of the jurisdiction, he cannot purport to be functioning from somewhere.
You see, let's be
Do you get
clear.
the point I'm making?
Yeah.
So they are talking about procedural breaches, which is that president is out of town, vice president is out of town, speaker Bagby is out of town. We have an acting CJ.
Yeah.
Now, in the absence of all these three, why can't we just swear in the acting Chief Justice, so the acting Chief Justice can act in the capacity as both, not just an acting Chief Justice, also an acting President, so that we know that this is the man who is leading us as a people?
Well, these are matters of law. I mean, any of us, you, myself, could tomorrow hit the Supreme Court to have a proper interpretation on this matter in this particular
do we need to do that?
We may, because
there's an existing ruling.
Yeah, the existing ruling says that there's the speaker, right?
Yeah,
it says the speaker.
Yes.
But the speaker, as we speak,
is also indisposed.
Is indisposed or, on suspension at the moment. And then there's an acting speaker. So we should be acting further when we have a situation of this nature, which I believe our constitutional provisions did not envisage. And thank God there's a constitutional review committee job ongoing. I'm sure some of these things will come up. We did not envisage that a day will come where the speaker is, the Chief Justice is not at post, and there's an acting Chief Justice, and then you would have all the other major arms of government, heads out of town. So indeed, I think it's a challenge for all of us. However, I still insist that we should be looking at the spirit of the Constitution rather than the letter, which says that once the President is out, the Vice President is out, and the Speaker is out, then the Chief Justice takes over. And in this case, because the Chief Justice is not being sworn in as it were, then the country is now an orphan country. I think that we should rather be looking at the workability of what we are talking about, rather than just the letter and all that. Don't forget also that Tiba's ruling was also triggered by an action from one of us. And so we can still go back to court and ask the Supreme Court to tell us in vivid terms, when it gets to this level, what happens. But I'm particularly happy because the Constitutional Review Commission job is still on course. We can only pray that some of these things, as we are seeing today, I'm pretty sure in the past when the Constitution was written somewhere in the 90s, we envisaged a day like this. But, I mean, again, it's a learning curve. Again, is a point to decide.
What I'm trying to say is this.
Yes.
Is this, that how difficult will it be?
Yeah.
The dictates of the 1992 Constitution to just swear the acting Chief Justice in. How difficult will that be?
It should not be difficult. That's why I'm saying that we haven't been here before. Now we are here. I'm not sure this will happen again. I remember under President Kufuor, a similar thing happened. The President was out of town, the Vice President was out, the Speaker was out, and then they had to swear in the Chief Justice, if you remember, or the Speaker rather, one of them. And eventually that worked out for that moment. And I'm saying that this again poses a new challenge, a new situation altogether. That I think that we should be able to resolve. And we should not be alarmed about some of these issues. The Constitution was made for citizens, and we surely can test it again and see what the position of the law will be from our learned justices of the Supreme Court.
Okay, so in case you just joined us, we are having a conversation about the minorities presser yesterday. They held a news conference and did two things. One was about Sami Gyimfi, and the other was about the simultaneous absence of the President and the Vice President, and also the Speaker of Parliament. Is rare. It doesn't mean it's not happened before, but it's kind of like rare. And for them, their worry centers around whether due process was followed in delegating presidential duties as outlined in Ghana's 1992 Constitution. Now, they're saying that the rare development has sparked urgent concerns that the minority is demanding clarity on who is constitutionally in charge of the country in the absence of its three top office holders. And that's for them. And of course, I'm also saying that it raises governance and constitutional concerns that we ought to look at. And maybe I agree with you that the Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh's constitutional validation team would have to take a critical look at this and bring some finality and some clarity on what ought to happen when we are confronted with this kind of situation. Kamal Eddin will be joining us. Kamal Eddin is a member of the MPP's communications team. He will also be joining us shortly. He'll be taking his seat. And I'm sure that he would be in a better position to, to articulate in more succinct, in more clearer terms, what exactly are the fears of the minority as far as this matter is concerned. So once he joins us, we'll pick his thoughts on that as well. Now, whilst we're waiting for Kamali Dean to join us, now there's another matter which has also raised some grave concerns. And if you look at today's dailies, we're told that it's in relation to the cedi's appreciation against the dollar, you know, and the expectation that once the cedi is gaining strength and the dollar is also losing some strength, it should translate into the prices of goods and services on the market. But that's not happening. Of course, it is happening, but not at the rate at which we expected. In fact, some of them have not even touched their prices at all. And Guta has been talking. We've had some economists and so on and so forth who have also been commenting on the same matter. The trade minister, Ejari, has also been commenting on the matter. Now, if you look at today's daily graphic, it says that the cedi's appreciation against the dollar, price reduction will take some time. Professor Gachi, GNCCI, AGR calls for sustainability. Now, the story is by McLean Kofi, and it says that players in the business community have explained that the appreciation of the Ghana cedi against the dollar will not immediately translate into a significant reduction in the prices of goods and services. They maintain that most businesses or traders were still selling old stock that they had acquired at higher exchange rates, which would most likely delay any immediate price adjustment in response to currency movement. The players, including the Association of Ghana Industries, that's AGI, and also Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI, two groups that represent a large segment of manufacturers. And the story continues on page 3 of the papers. A last-minute segment of traders in the country explained the price of goods in the Ghanaian markets were driven by multiple factors, including transportation costs, import duties, and overhead expenses, with the exchange rate being just one of the several, influences. Those who spoke on behalf of the trade associations are the Chief Executive Officer of Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Chuma Akwabwa, and the CEO of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu Abuaje. The Dean of the University of Cape Coast School of Business, Professor John Gachi, corroborated the position of the market, stating that a meaningful reduction in prices would only occur if the cedi's appreciation was sustained over a longer period to give businesses the confidence to revise their pricing structures accordingly. Now, the Ghana cedi extended its upward momentum against major trading currencies in the third week of May, showing significant appreciation since March this year. Now, data from the Bank of Ghana show that the cedi strengthened from 15.53 to 13.09 per dollar on the buying rate between March 12 and May 12, 2025, while the selling rate improved from 15.55 to 13.10. Similar gains were recorded against the pound sterling, with the buying rate rising from 20.09 to 17.42 and the euro from 16.96 to 14.74 over the same period. Analysts, including Data Bank Research, attribute the cedi's continuous resilience to strong central bank support and improved sovereign credit ratings, projecting further stability. Bloomberg has also named the cedi the world's best performing currency this month, reinforcing optimism within the country's financial sector. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has also appealed to the trading community to adjust prices of goods and services to share the significant gains made by the appreciation of the cedi against the major trading currencies and bring some relief to the consuming public. Now, before we get into a conversation on this matter, Kamal Dean has also joined us. Kamal Dean is a member of the NPP's communications team as well, and in fact, a senior communicator of the party. He's joined us. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. Good morning. And I will always say assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I hope you're doing well.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Doing very well.
Now, a while ago, Wanda Madilo and I were having a conversation about the concerns that your minority have been sharing, and it has to do with the absence of the president, the vice president, and also the absence of the speaker. And so we're left with only the acting CJ, and the fact that the acting CJ has still not been sworn in. So the question is, who is leading this country? Who is the leader of this country? And you're very worried about it.
Yes.
In fact, you've even gone to the extent of saying that there's some kind of a constitutional breach.
Of course, yeah. Not this. There is.
Okay. So help explain, throw some more light on these concerns that you have.
Well, thank you very much. And once again, good morning to you, Wanda. I thought I should have been congratulating you this morning.
Please do.
I've not heard anything yet.
Please do.
No, the man says he says he's focusing on running his business.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh.
you know.
Anyway, but
he wants to be in the private sector. He says the public sector is too tricky.
Oh, really?
You could easily get yourself into
So he
trouble.
wants to do his business.
Yes,
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. I wish.
But doesn't mean that if he's given the opportunity to serve, he won't.
Oh, I like this caveat. I like this caveat. I like this caveat. Before the man comes and you're telling him, no. I like this caveat.
Yes,
anyway, but let me say very good morning once again to the viewers out there. And, yes, the assertion by the minority that there seemed to be a breach of the Constitution or a disregard to our Constitution, I mean, it's trite. A plethora of cases in the Supreme Court have held same. I mean, the example is Asare versus Attorney General, where the Supreme Court held that in the absence of the president, obviously the vice president acts, and in the absence of the vice president, the Speaker of Parliament ought to be sworn in to act in their stead. I mean, and so on. And then, of course, if you look at Article 57 of the Constitution, for instance, the presidencies are set there. I mean, the president comes in, the vice president, the Speaker of Parliament, and of course, the Chief Justice follows. Is the fourth. You see, and the idea behind all this has to do with not leaving a vacuum. At any given point in time,
You
there
mean
must
power,
be a leader
power
in the
vacuum?
country.
You mean power vacuum?
Of course.
Right.
There must be a leader in this country.
Right.
We don't pray for anything untoward. We don't pray for anything to happen to our leaders. May Allah forbid that. But of course, we have seen in some jurisdictions when president travels, you never know. You see, we are in the hands of the Almighty Allah. He decides whatever he wants to do to us at any given time. And I believe that is why the framers of the Constitution have contemplated on that to say, look, let us not take chances. At any given time, there must be somebody at the helm of affairs directing on how issues should go. Fundamentally, let me even ask this, and morally, are we for our lives? No. Sometime not too long ago in Iran, the president traveled. And what happened? Allah knows best. Okay? I'm not saying it will never happen to us, inshallah. Allah, we pray against it. But I'm saying that let us not know what the law says and blatantly, openly come out to say, no, we will not do it. I mean, we all know that the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana is unwell and is outside receiving treatment, per the message that we're giving. We all know, again, that as we said today, the President is not around. We also know that the Speaker of Parliament is not around. And, of course, the Chief Justice who ought to have been the one acting, as we speak now, is on suspension. The acting Chief Justice, whether he has been sworn in properly, so-called, what is it? We don't know.
Oh, quite clearly, he's not been sworn in.
Absolutely. So, you see, it means that we are toying with this country's future.
Right.
It's not proper. Look, I have always commended the security services of our land. The police, the immigration, the military, they're doing a great job. And they have loved for this constitution. And I'm so happy about it. We are surrounded. Just go into some other within our neighbors. Look at what is happening. The vulnerability. You understand? God forbid that will never happen to us. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that we should be careful doing some of these things. Don't leave openings. It doesn't help us. So what the minority is saying is firmly grounded, is solid, and of course the law says it. Okay, we have had cases where when President traveled and they said the Speaker of Parliament was going to act, people rose up against it, but the court said no, it's supposed to be so. That's what it is. So please, 32 years of our democracy, or 31 years and more, going of our democracy, of the constitutional dispensation that we have, the Fourth Republican Constitution, is an admiration. It's something that the world is watching us. You see, but to be, deliberately putting the grunum or the bigger law of this country aside and doing what you want will not help us. I would advise that, look, people at the helm of affairs, some of these little mistakes, okay, Even if it's an agency or it's urgent for you to move, why not? Just write. I'm traveling, blah, 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 blah. You are not the common person. For God's sake, please. President Mahama is the president of the Republic of Ghana.
Right.
We must know that. And all of us acknowledge that. He is not just anybody. The taxpayer is taking care. That's why the president, the constitution says that he cannot even be tried. You can't take him to court. Even if he commits a crime, while he's the president of the Republic of Ghana, let him even commit a crime, which I know he will never do. He can't be taken to court on that. He can't be tried on that. So at the end of the day, it means that there's so much protection given to you by the Constitution. So the very Constitution that's giving the protection and giving you all these, stature in our public life and giving you all the strength and the powers, that very Constitution ought to be respected. With the greatest respect to the President and his, vice and others.
All right, wonderful.
Mornng, you see, the difficulty is it's not as though we discount the position of the minority.
Okay.
I mean, they are citizens. We are all citizens. We want the best for this country. The difficulty is when the debate or the discourse is tied around a vacancy of power, and therefore anything can happen. Now, let me sound very bluntly. You don't need to be in the jurisdiction if anything is going to happen at all. Many of the ones we have seen around, the President of the Republic or the other arms were actually in the country when it happened. So it is not, let's be careful we don't tie it into the business of, I don't want to use the word, but we don't tie it to the business of, say, an overthrow or whatever.
No, that's not
power
word.
vacuum.
You're getting it wrong.
No.
Okay, be done.
Many of the examples they give is that, just around us, we see what has happened and all that. And what has happened around us? I mean, tried knowledge is all cool around us. What we want to avoid is that, discourse going to that angle. We do agree that the president is out of town. He has duly notified the speaker. Unfortunately, the speaker himself is out of town. So, and I'm saying again that our constitution did not envisage the day where the president will be out of town, vice president will be out of town, speaker will be out of town. It does not.
The Chief Justice.
And then the Chief Justice acts. But he did not envisage that there will be a day that there will be a Chief Justice who will be an acting capacity. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is also another point of law that we must try. He talks about the ground of, yes, being the constitution or the basis for all our laws. We agree that that is in place. And then that of Professor Dateba's ruling. We agree to all that. But again, let's be cautious how we put it out. And then try to, as citizens, he and I tomorrow can go to court and ask the Supreme Court to tell us exactly what should happen in this circumstance, which is very unique in this Fourth Republic. That's all we're saying.
You know when I was talking about the fact that it's rare, I didn't even avert my mind to the fact that for the first time, we've had a situation where our top officers are out of town, and the only person who could have acted in that capacity is also in an acting capacity.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
It's not, it has not averted my mind to it, but when you listen to what the legal brains are saying, what essentially they're saying is that whether in an acting capacity or not, for them is immaterial.
Yeah, that's the point.
You could still be sworn in.
Of course, That argument can be advanced as well. Yes.
So then it comes back to the point you made that there's actually no excuse why we must have.
No, there's no.
We must not have an acting president.
No. There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
So perhaps we need to get some more explanation from there.
You see, I never expected this from my brother, the president of the Republic of Ghana. I mean, he has the experience. You've been vice president before. You've been president before. I mean, some of these things are at your fingertips. So I don't know why this avoidable, with a great respect, mistakes towards the law is committed, because this is somebody who, of course, has been there before. You understand? So I'm really surprised why we all is deliberate. Maybe it's deliberate, I don't know. But the Constitution is so big for you to be flouted. So huge.
So your issue is not really about whether the country is being run properly or not. That for you is not an issue.
No. You see, the point is that
the issue is that there's a constitutional, provision
that once the law is the law. Listen, you see, Wanda has his opinion, I have my opinion. The law is at the center of it. What the law says is what we all follow.
All right.
So we are saying that if the law says this is what we ought to do as a people, let's do it. Whether it's the president or whoever is charged to work with what the law says, do it for us. Look, I gave an example of the jurisdiction where I said, Wanda thinks that he's averting his mind to coups. It's not just coup. Where I said, our lives were not for it.
Right.
Look, let me tell you, there's this story one of the presidents, I don't want to mention his name, traveled to the US and took off from Washington to, was it New York or New Jersey? 30 minutes into the flight, one of the engines of the plane went off. A president of the Republic of Ghana. They had to make a turn and then do an emergency landing again.
I recall that story.
You get what I mean? So I'm saying that your life isn't in your hands. Yeah. You don't know anything. Above everything, we are in the hands of Almighty Allah. So point is that some of these mistakes, let's avoid them. That's basically it. All right.
Come on, agreed.
Well, this is the first time I've seen this kind of, how do you call it?
No, I mean,
I've seen this kind of posture.
You see?
Truth is one.
Where two colleagues from the opposite side have agreed on an issue.
But Wanda has been a gentleman today, and I mean, he's trying to copy me tomorrow.
So you agree that we want to tidy up?
No, we have to tidy up. We should try to tidy up. It's very important
for our own security.
You see, can I say something?
Yeah, please.
A lot of people are saying that the speaker, the president should have sworn in the acting chief justice.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
That again is also another lacuna in its own.
Right.
On what capacity are you swearing him in? As acting chief justice? Is that what the law says?
Wow.
Well, so that's why we need to go to court.
He's raising.
Yeah, that's why we need to go to court. You see? Because the man is in an acting capacity. He's not a chief justice. He's not sworn in as such.
Under a process.
A substantive is under suspension.
Wow.
Yeah, so
under a process. Let me use the suspension, of course.
So you would have triggered a different discourse altogether if you sworn him in.
So there's a difficulty.
So that's why I'm saying we need to.
I think the lawyers have to come in to help us here. I mean, there's a difficulty.
That's also has been bothering my mind all over because who are you swearing in? The law says swear in the chief justice, not an acting chief justice. So we need to be careful how we juggle.
It's a valid point.
That's why I said at the certain point.
Administratively, the acting can go on so that there will not be that vacuum. There will not be that lacuna or space.
You cannot swear.
But of course, but to swear him in, I think it's a valid point. It's another matter. Maybe the lawyers, the constitutional law lecturers and lawyers
as
acting president.
Yeah.
So these are the difficulties.
We need constitutional law experts to help us on this. I mean, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. And so it brings into sharper focus the need for us to really take a second look at it.
No, we have to really look at it strongly.
And every day issues keep coming up that gives us...
But no wonder we have a committee in place to review the Constitution. It's been back and forth, though. President Atamal started it. I mean, President Akufo-Addo touched on it a bit. And, of course, President Mahama is on it again. I'm told they've received a couple of memorandums. A lot, and then they're working on. Some of these things ought to be looked at. I think Professor Prempe was...
It was an HQC Prempe, yes.
Prempe is
chairing what they call the Constitution Validation
very sharp
Committee.
Constitutional aspect
legal
of that. I mean, so, but of course, I pray and hope that some of these lacunas are really taken care of in our Constitution going forward. 32 years of a Constitution, we've operated it for far too long. We've done so well, and many constitutions, 1960 Constitution didn't survive that way.
Right.
69 didn't survive.
No,
79 didn't so much survive. But this one has actually survived it. 32 years, 3 decades.
A lot of credit to the NDC.
A lot of credit to us. In any case, look, most of the constitutional law, most of the constitutional law cases, even at the Supreme Court, was emanated by us. Even though you
test the constitution we have given you, and then you want to take credit for it.
No, we shaped it. We shaped our thinking.
Really?
Yes. If you don't go to court to test, you just told me to go to court.
No, I don't have a problem. I want to say that we gave you the best constitution so far.
The best.
Okay. We gave you the best constitution. You
had 100 law students will tell the MPP has really.
You see all those cases, the MPP versus Attorney General. I'm telling you that we gave you the best constitution.
Okay.
We gave you the basis to go and test it.
You gave us the best constitution. With all these indemnity clauses. You gave a constitution for yourself.
32 years on the bounds.
Let's proceed. Let's carry on with another subject matter, which is more to do with bread and butter. The CD is appreciating. Dollar is getting weaker. Of course, the dollar has begun appreciating, but yes, let's look at more at the CD. The CD is appreciating, and the general or natural expectation is that it must begin to reflect in our pockets, but it's not necessarily doing that because the trading community have said they've given all kinds of reasons why they can't reduce their prices now, and so we want to find out what we can do next. And I've read a story in today's Daily Graphic where the Professor Gachi and Co. and some other economists and the trading community themselves have been talking about why they cannot reduce their prices now. Do I have to read the story again? Because we're not here to read the story.
I'm okay.
Okay,
I'm following it.
And so I would start as usual. Wanda, what do you think is the way out?
No, you know, I play in that environment when it comes to business. And so let's be fair. In the interim, what we can do as a country, as a people, as leaders and all that is to advocate. Indeed, you will observe that some prices have already, been
started
affected.
Coming down,
For instance, I have a couple of colleagues that do business from Nigeria to Ghana, Togo to Ghana. Yesterday, the exchange rate at the border was about 24 Ghana cedis. It used to be as high as 29, and it's 24 yesterday. So most of their prices have been shaped a little. Even the Naira is also not doing so well. So a lot of prices are beginning to change. But these are only on what we call the perishable consumables and all that. But when you talk about inputs like hardcore investments, what I would call equipment and all that, because they already have old stock. For instance, if I'm selling generators, diesel generators, I may have imported it under President Akufo-Addo when it was 18 Ghana cedis to $1, right?
Or did we ever get to 18?
18 Ghana cedis to $1. Let's be factual on some of these things. Charges.
I don't know you to be propaganda. We've never got to 18.
No, the highest was 17.
Absolutely.
No, I said the paid charges. What's the paid charges? So on average, about 18 Ghana cedis, 17 Ghana cedis to $1.
17.
Okay, 17. Let's use 17 to $1. For the purpose and then high import charges at the time. High taxes they paid at the time. So these are in their warehouses and in stock. Okay. And let's be fair, because they bought it at that price, a lot of money from their investments have gone into that. It would take a new stock of piles of stock to have the prices properly so-called adjusted.
Okay.
And so you don't see immediately a reflection over 2 months, 1 month, and all that. There's a circle. They import. Some import every quarter, some import once or twice a year and all that. So you will see those changes coming in pretty much soon. Also because we have a free market economy where government doesn't play any role within the private space of business. You cannot manipulate, quote unquote, the prices. If government was playing within the sector, then you can decide and say, well, for spare part dealers, I'm going to reduce by this margin, and so I expect all of you to do that, or you do it by yourself. Then when customers rush to your place, all the others are beginning to shape theirs along that. That would be a more crude way of reducing prices, and it's not lasting enough. It doesn't tell the real environment of business, and you may be manipulating figures to get that outcome. So indeed, we agree that prices are going down. The dollar is getting weaker and weaker. The cedi is gaining some strength over some time. Fuel prices have also been, reduced over the period. We will see more and further reductions. A lot of this will also go into production, enhancing our production capacity. I have seen people who want to import equipment. Like, for instance, myself, we're in the process of importing something. I said, hold on, because at the time they gave us the figures, when we did our competitions, it was high. Now that I see that the cedi is behaving better and good and kind towards us, I said, hold on, because by the time we are ready to do it, we may be paying less in terms of how much cedis we're taking out. So indeed, we have to be fair to the people within the Guta space. We also have to be fair to the economy itself, because some of these things would need some time to reflect. We are not only talking about even prices, even exchange rates. What's the name? Prime rates at the banks, the lending rates and all that. All those things will need some reshaping as we progress, because we are seeing some good signs of the economy recovering and all that. What I don't want is to force this, because if you force it, the repercussions are that it will last. It will not even reflect the exact differences that you need in terms of reduction when it comes to prices. And so it will be organic. It would be a more realistic way of doing it than just the push in that regard. Our economy is also very dependent on what I would say buying and selling. And that's why anytime the cedi weakens a little, they quickly go to increase prices. We do not have a system where people who are importing from outside the country we'll have to rely maybe on the central government to do that for them in terms of the transfers of money abroad and all that. People take their own hard currency, some put in their accounts, go abroad and cash it. Some also have to do fiscal transfers and all that. And that puts a lot of pressure on the city. I'm happy that at a time like this, people can now, if the Bank of Ghana will do something about this, people can walk to the Bank of Ghana and allow payments to be made on their accounts and all that. Except that we're not very, not truthful. Most businessmen are not very truthful when it comes to transfers abroad. Some of the transfers abroad, because they are multilateral companies in Ghana, multinational companies in Ghana, some of them are actually profits they are repatriating abroad. So you cannot go to Bank of Ghana and say, I'm taking 2 million out of the country because it's my profits, and that will go through easily. They will hide it behind in the name of importing some products and all that. Then they get the money, and it goes out as profit being repatriated, which never comes back to the economy. You find that happening a lot in the free zone space and those with tax waivers and all that. And I think that those are the real leakages that put so much pressure on the dollar, and by so doing, it's scarce in the system, and we have to buy at higher rates. I believe sincerely that the Atuforsin-led finance, ministry and the Bank of Ghana are doing a lot more of collaboration in that regard. I believe that the sustenance of the cedi from now on to many more months, many more years to come can be sustained. If we can put this in perspective and allow the cedi to gain some level of stability. I'm not even looking at downward trends, because the downward trends in business really also doesn't allow you to plan. Because if today I change dollar to cedi at 13, tomorrow I'm changing at 11, another day I'm changing at 9, then it comes back to 14 again. I can't plan. It's difficult to plan. So what traders are looking for is the stability. If it was,
so there must be certainty, there must be predictability.
Yes, certainty, predictability, and once you have that, say the dollar to cedi was locked at 13 for the whole year, we can plan with that, even as a government, in repaying our debt and all that. But where it is fluctuating, you are computing figures in dollars, and the exchange rate is always changing, even on your bank statement, on your statement of accounts, on your projections and all that. You're always having to juggle between figures. It doesn't really help for good planning and all that. So the stability, which you said, the predictability, the certainty and all that, is one of the cardinal things that the Finance Ministry and the Bank of Ghana would be looking at, and I presume that they are doing that pretty much well. We can sustain this. Once we can sustain this, prices will go down naturally.
Do you agree with your other colleagues, because you're also into the trading business. Now, do you agree with your colleagues who say that they may need about 6 months period of stability of the currency to be able to confidently say that they are reducing their prices? Do you agree with those who are saying that?
I don't entirely agree, because it depends on what industry you're in. Like I'm saying, if I'm importing transformers, generators, and all that, you're coming. They bring them in good loads.
Okay.
And you won't be importing every month. So I'm bringing in maybe 50 kVA generators. I'm bringing in maybe about 100 or 200 pieces of them. It will take me some time to sell them. That stock was bought at maybe 17 Ghana cedis to $1. By the time by my next one, maybe the dollar has come to 13 Ghana cedis to $1.
Okay.
I can plan with a new one by my new import.
Right.
But for the period where I imported the other one until when I finish selling it, it's a bit difficult to halt prices.
But here's the thing. You bought your KVI, your KV, whatever, you get KV something.
Yes, generator.
Power. At say $17 to the cedi.
Yes.
Okay. Someone actually is buying the same product today at say 13 to 13.4, 13.04 per the interbank rates.
Good.
Now, if you have a market like Ghana, which is more like a buyer's market, I don't think our market is a seller's market, because the buyers, to a very large extent, determine the movement of price and the movement of prices within the market.
Good.
So let's say you and Kamaluddin, you deal in the same product. You bought yours, as you said, sometime last year or 2 years ago at 17. And these are products that take time to move or to sell. Okay, so you have a stock of generators bought at $17 per cedi.
Exactly.
Kamaluddin is just starting the same business today. He's buying the same product at $13.04. Now, all other factors held constant.
Good.
what it means is that Kamali Dean's product will be far cheaper than yours.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying that.
So why does that leave you?
Yeah.
Me, I'm a buyer. And I'm a rational buyer. I'm looking for same product, same quality, but at a lower price.
At a lower price.
Good. But that's why I told you that it's not a blanket thing.
Yes.
That once, I saw this, you saw that, so this is when we will reduce or we will not reduce. I said that there will be a seamless transition at that point.
Okay.
He may sell his own at 13.
Okay.
I'm still selling my own at 17. I may not get buyers to buy.
Yes.
He has also discovered, and all businessmen are crude.
Yeah.
He has discovered that even at my 17, I'm still selling.
Yes.
He may even want to come and join me at my 17. Because the motive for him doing business is profit. Do you understand?
Yes.
No, otherwise,
but at that same 13.04, Kamal is still making. He's
talking about. You're talking about good margins.
Yes.
He knows that he's got his.
Okay. So your argument is that. Your argument is that.
Yeah.
Even though Kamal Dean can in fact should sell it at the 13.04.
Exactly.
The fact that he needs more profit.
Yes.
But then Kamal is also very much aware that there are other players on the market.
Exactly.
Who are selling the same product.
Yes.
Who
at
are
my
pegging
price.
it to the $17.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But if Kamal wants people to rush to him and buy his product, why would he sell it at your price?
Businessmen think differently.
Really?
That's why I told you that the motive is money. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you bought something at 20 Ghana cedis.
In fact, he can even do at 15 and still make a lot of money.
So you bought something at 15 Ghana cedis and you're selling at 25.
Yes.
I went somewhere and I bought it for 18.
Yes.
I've made some 2 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
And I'll come back to sell it at the 25 with you. And I'll be making more profit. That's the motive.
Oh, you mean there will be a middleman who go and buy the same product from Kamal?
Exactly.
And go and sell it at. But they will still sell it at your price.
I'm saying that, you see, I don't want to use the word cabal.
Okay.
But in every industry, for instance, if you talk about electrical industry, go to Opera Square where we do business there.
Yes.
When you enter one shop, and you ask for the price of maybe this cable, maybe this 2.5 cable, and they tell you, oh, it's 200 Ghana cedis. And you say, oh, it's too much, I don't want to buy it. They have their own platforms. Quickly, though, what quantity do you need? I need about 100 of them. So, oh, okay, I say, I can't sell it anything less. But quickly, they have informed their platform that, oh, somebody's in the market who wants 100 of this. I gave him this price, and everybody's going to sell it to you at that price.
Really?
So there are other dynamics in the market that don't easily allow you to have these reflections. This is the truth, and businessmen think along this line. However, if it's a perishable good, exactly. That's what I mentioned to you earlier. That's what I mentioned to you earlier, that for the perishables, you will see quick, price, to reflect quick, because they want the product to move. If you are selling drinks and all that, there are expiry dates. What's the expiry date for a generator?
That's true.
For a cable,
So even cars.
So this is where they try to make windfalls. At this point, somebody will even go and buy new ones, at new prices. Yes, and come and quickly sell to make quick margins before talking about the old ones in the stock, because he's not also sure that this will be sustained for a long time. He's also skeptical. Maybe in 6 months he may come back to, so let me just hold. Sometimes they even decide not to sell at all, and then you have shortage on the market. Then the price goes up again because there's shortage of the product on the market. So the highest bidder is likely to have it. So there's a bit of darkroom economics in this whole transaction when it comes to price.
So that's why, for instance, there was a woman I must have been on TikTok, who was happy that a gallon of oil, I don't want to mention the name of the brand, obviously, for obvious reasons, a gallon of oil had reduced from 100 and something cedis to about 70 or 80 cedis. And she was very happy.
And to be honest with you, those who can speculate smart, and if they know the expiry date of the market, they will buy now and hoard. Praying again that the reverse of the CD happens, and then they sell again.
But what if it drops?
Yeah, it's a gamble. It's a gamble.
Okay, it's like hedging.
Yes, you are hedging.
It's like hedging.
So,
all right, so come on, I'll bring you. I'll bring you. You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. We're trying to understand why prices aren't coming down, even though the CD is appreciating, the dollar, until a few days ago, was weakening. Now it's coming up because, as you do know, what's the name? Trump and his China counterparts are beginning to see eye to eye as far as the trading between the two trading global giants are concerned. And my guests here are giving their own thoughts about the matter. Now, stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana.
tontom. Mr. Femi Kakalika, just call me cockroach.
Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Maybe this sasso spray. Mr. Femi sasso quell. Yeah, to my sasso.
Sasso, come tom preko.
Mommy.
Michelle say, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Chocolate Toothpaste, healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste, Sankofa.
Yenchi, Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
You want to get polytan?
Oh, and you're fine.
Go straight.
No, I want to left, right.
That's right. Ghana na ye wono. So when you jomwa and ye data. Who knows? Abe, na here. Me pe polytan kato. Enu tin na menu aba otu pe bia be na ba hayo. Ofu to bia e se enja ye kura.
Akuya bulambu kotoman. Emu ha.
Like they take you by so. Go to the distributor and you give the original polytank. You get a sound?
Polytank. Papananka Sankasa.
Cratchy, unemu bua unkoisha Dr. Ban uye denwa.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Yamfani come and me burua.
Mami do buru. Don't ya tell me ko. Bra, mumi yamfani ko Dr. Ban ho.
Dr. Ban oya de.
Bra, se banu no mpemu adwuma sasabro slow Dr. Ban oye.
Hey, so ni kemi kwa na meka. Oh, no mpemu ni mdi onu na ye expect nya zanfo no. O akra eni kumasi no mpemu expect yen kan kire.
MGL Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
You're live on Good Morning God on Metro Television. I'm here with Wanda Madilo, who is one of the spokespersons for the NDC, and also Kamaluddin, who is also a member of the MPP's communications team. So, in case you just joined us, we're having a very interesting conversation about why prices aren't coming down, despite the fact that the cedi is appreciating and the dollar not doing very well. I want to say the dollar is weakening. That was before, but the last few days, as I said, the dollar is beginning to resurge. And so, when they're giving their different reasons why things are the way they are. Come on, are you also into trading?
I would. No.
Do you trade or you don't trade?
Not really.
Okay. So you are a consumer like all of us?
I was actually into business, but at a point...
Not into trading necessarily?
Not necessarily.
All right. So what's your take on this?
Let me sound a bit political, though my good friends decided to sound more
like a businessman
this morning.
Yes.
First of all, do we have to gloat over where the currency is now? As a government or as a citizen of Ghana, I would advise the government not to gloat over it. I mean, question is, have we been there before? And the answer is yes. With the immediate past government, that is our government. Well, we've achieved 13, we've achieved 12, we've achieved 14. We went all the way to 17. It came back to 15. You see, that space is very vulnerable. And you know what makes it a bit vulnerable? We've left it to the vagaries of the operators of arbitrage.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Right.
There are key operators of arbitrage. It's a syndicate. It's a chain. It's a strong, cabal. He didn't want to use the word. That's what is happening. And that is why we can never get it right. No government can get the forex industry right. So long as these people who are the strong people in that area, you see, what they do is, like I told you, it's just arbitrage. If you understand the finance market, they take advantage of the benefit that exists. If this money is moving from this place, by the time it gets to Wanda Madilo's place, I would have made, in between some 2 cedis or some 3 cedis.
Some gains.
And imagine if the person is doing volumes. It's not easy.
That's huge.
That's huge. You see, I went to South Africa some time ago, and from my hotel, Michelangelo, I said, I didn't have rand. I didn't have any, so I had some few dollars in my hands. Let me go get change. So I asked the receptionist, and she directed me. There's a bank just close to the hotel. He said, here I cannot, I have no forest bureau unless I go to the bank. I went to the bank. I didn't take my passport. Then asked, I wanted to get some rand to get into this, the mall or something. The bank asked me, first question was, where's my passport? I have to go and bring I brought my passport. They said they would have to go through what? Give me a temporary account before I can now change money. It's a policy, deliberate policy. Ask yourself, come to Ghana. When you exit Kotoka, Abochi is standing there with the dollars.
Okay? Abochi is actually not the owner of those dollars or those pounds. The main owner is sitting somewhere, cooling off, enjoying with, sipping some orange juice or something, and has sent guys around. And now what he does is to pick a phone and call a bank that he has a relationship with. So that when central bank releases or injects in, hard currencies to ease, the pressures on the cedi, that money doesn't even go into circulation. Businessmen don't get it. With the aim of, central bank gives you this money. With the aim of businessmen having access to the bank, say I want to pay for my importation I want to do from China, then they'll be able to do it for them, or want to do it from US or something. They'll go there, businessmen go to the bank, they don't even get the currency. The man sipping that orange juice, okay, sitting in East Legon or Cantonments or one of the big places, okay, is the one controlling the bank in terms of that. So I'm saying that not until we are able to fight this group of people who see arbitrage as the best way to make money, look, we will always suffer. I'm not surprised, and I was not surprised yesterday when S&P gave us the rating and cautioned us that, look, don't be happy. By June, you may think your currency is strong now, but by June, you may suffer it again. Why? So question now arises, what have we done as a people? Look, forget about we trying to do politics. NMPP time, the dollar was this. NDC time, this thing, we should stop it. Trust me. We should stop it. If we really want to solve this problem and nip this in the bud once and for all, the NDC MPP must sit on the table. What can we do to strengthen our city? In Saudi Arabia, you know what? The dollar has been 375 real, 365 real since 30 years or 40 years ago. It's still where it is. And sometimes they even call you, don't you want foreign currency? Don't you want to change? They invite you to come for it. You see, because they have stringent and strong policies against the forex market. All these things I'm talking about has to do with one thing. We should be deliberate about our policy. Atuforcing can do all the English, do whatever. The governor of Bank of Ghana can do all the English, do whatever. So long as this syndicate, this cabal, so long as this, if you like, people who are benefited from it exist.
You're talking about the black market economy.
They use them. The black market. And you know what we can do? I will have to profess a solution here, my suggestion. Wonder is a businessman. What stops us from knowing that those who import toiletries into the country, they are, say, the bigger companies are 4 or 5 companies. We know them. Bank of Ghana takes care of them. What stops us? Those who import, say, foodstuffs, maybe rice, we have about 10 or 5 companies. We take a data of them. Then we say, okay, those bringing in food, which is already the norm anyway, Agri Ministry gives you license. After your license, tell us from first quarter, when you are placing your order, this, how much will it cost us? This, that money is going to be paid by Bank of Ghana through this bank for you. Okay? So you don't have to go to the market to look for dollar to go and buy your things and come. No, we don't know. So can't we have this data? We do that across board in the import industry. Then we know that electrical wires, whoever brings it, we have the big players. They are just people. They are the wholesalers. We have a group of them. So we know, just as we do to the oil industry, where we say that we spend about $400 million a month or whatever to the BDCs, we should be able to say the first quarter on food stuffs, we're able to spend this, and through Bank of Ghana, these people were given. Well, so we will control it in a way. Now, those people who hitherto would have gone to the market or to any bank manager calling for dollar will not do that again. Because they will not even get, there's no space for you. Now, it will reduce the efficacy of the black market.
Yeah, but not necessarily. And you know why? Not necessarily. Because you see, today, dollar is being sold at a certain rate.
Yes.
I don't know what the interforex, the interbank,
yes.
and then the interforex. Because the forex will
about 15. It's about 15 outside.
It's about 15 at the forex.
Yeah, it's about yesterday. Check.
Really?
Outside black market, somebody will tell you 15 or 14.
I'm not even talking about black market.
No, that's what happened.
I'm just saying that if I go to a forex bureau today, how much am I likely to get a dollar?
You are likely to get around 14 something.
Good. But you see, if I go to a forex and I can buy it at $14 or 14 point something cedis per dollar, Abochi can give me Abochi can give me the same dollar at a less price. You know that.
That's the point. That's why I'm saying that.
So the point is, where does Abochi get the dollar from?
I just told you where Abochi gets it.
No problem. I get it. When I land, you understand me. The question is, where does Abochi get his rates from? That makes it enticing and attractive to the business or the market players to go and buy the dollar from there.
Very good.
Now, when they go and buy the dollar from there, they are happier because they make more profit margins.
Yes.
Do you get the point I'm making? I'm saying that for as long as our buyers and sellers are going around looking for cheaper rates, it will be difficult to fight Abochi because Abochi have realized that there's a certain gap. And the gap is that when the forex bureaus, to all intents and purposes, get their dollars from the central bank, they will add their margins and so on because they have to make profit. They are not. It's not a charity organization. Of course, But Abochi realizes that in between what they get from the central bank to the forex bureau, the gap there, if it's 2 cities, if it's 3 cities or 4 cities or whatever it is, I'm not running a shop. I don't have anybody I'm paying. I'm not paying electricity. I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying all of these things. So that gap, which is 3 or 4 cities, I want to give it at 1.5 or 2.
That's the point I'm making. I'm saying that.
And so their rates will always be cheaper.
I'm saying that.
How do we get rid of them?
First of all, the dollar moves from central bank. I'm talking about Ghana first.
Yes,
Ghana
first.
Issues anyway here.
Yes.
Sometimes they even check, look, these people doing the work, they will go to Burkina Faso and check if there's some dollar there. Exchange rate, how is it like? Compare it to Ghana. What is it? What can I get? They'll be able to work on it. But that aside, within us, Bank of Ghana brings in the money to the banks. From the banks, it's supposed to go to some forex. Bank of Ghana give forex bureaus as well.
Okay.
From the banks to businessmen and whatever. All these things happen.
Okay.
The point.
So great. So daily exchange rates. Okay, so this is still interbank rates.
This is forex.
It's still interbank.
I was going to give you.
I need the forex. Oh, you have a forex bureau?
No, I mean I was going to give you this.
The same. Yeah. So it's still interbank. I was actually looking for forex, the forex rates, not the interbank rates.
It's about 14.
Interbank rates are very low, eh?
They're low.
It's 12.88
for today.
Yes, buying.
That's what I wanted.
And selling is 12.89. Unbelievable.
You see?
Pounds is 17.0218 and selling at 17.04.
So understand, see, how do? I'm trying to say that.
The thing is heading towards 10.
It's coming to 9.
Look, and whether it's heading to 9 or 10, that's why I started by saying that we have been there before. The MPP achieved a single digit on it. Why? Yes. Why did Dr. Bawumia make a comment that we have arrested the city and then given it?
No, at that time we were already in single digit when you took over.
No. I'm saying, when you come
during that time, were other foreign currencies also being impacted positively?
Come again.
At that time, was the pound sterling the euro also making gains during the same time you're talking about? Because I remember at that time was just the dollar.
The city was actually performing so well.
No, when you say
against only the dollar at the time.
I'm not allowed to make.
Oh no, okay.
Let me make the point. You understand? You see, the point I want us to make is that first of all, when if government comes in, you enjoy a certain level of goodwill. Don't forget about that.
Yes.
Your first 3 months is not your budget and your fiscal policy. You should know about that. Now, that much budget that you have brought, and with your fiscal policies that you have announced, after Parliament passing it, you're now going to do implementations. Question is, this government, your implementation had just started, which is about a month, a week old, or a month, 2 weeks old now. So, I mean, that's basically what you're doing. So, if you look at what you are doing, the results you are getting now has to do with what you inherited in a way. That's actually the truth. And then coupled with the goodwill that you get. Look, Guta is quick to tell you that, oh, it's coming down, so we want to actually ensure that prices of goods and services will reduce. It's a sign of goodwill you are enjoying. And you know what happens within that environment? When there's some seeming investor confidence injected or seen, okay, it helps stabilizes your currency. Okay, it's a whole lot of stuff. Then I'm saying that the goodwill you've enjoyed, the policy you are now going to put together, what you have inherited, all culminates into where we are now. And the person who is rating you here I started the S&P says that, look, we got it from the injection of the dollar that you accrued from through your gold, about 4.6 billion to shore up your reserves. We also got that the expenditures you did maybe during the election, you were able to manage certain things. We also got that your debt restructuring that you did indeed helped you. You didn't do all these things. So for all this to help you now, getting your currency stabilizing and coming up, you are now going to take it from there. Point I want to make is that don't gloat over it now. Don't be too happy. Don't be quick to go to the market to say government of the day has brought down the dollar. If government of the day has brought down the dollar, government of the day must stop doing so. Don't blame Doomsaw on the ex-Wal government. Yesterday, some of us slept in darkness.
Come on, let me ask you this.
And you are not blaming, as you say, we should blame MPP. No problem. But with this one, we should be able to say what the government of the day is the one doing it.
If the dollar today,
yes,
was selling at 17, 60, between 16, 17, or even $18, who would you have blamed?
Well, you see, if you are telling me that what you inherited is what might have caused it, of course, obviously, if the dollar wasn't doing well, you will be quick to tell me today that it's because of what I inherited and the shocks that comes with it. That is why I'm suffering.
The reason why I asked you this question is because consistently, every politician wants to take credit for the good and run away from the bad. And I'm sure same will go to the NDC.
Yeah.
I'm saying that today, it doesn't matter what explanation you give. You can go on and rant and rave and dice it, slice it, do whatever it is. But I think the NDC has every right to take credit.
So you see why I was...
Today, if the dollar is not doing well, everybody will be on the neck of the NDC.
You see why I started off by saying that... Oh, just
one thing to finish, and then I can bring
you see why I started off by saying that, look, there are factors that cause the depreciation of the cedi.
I agree with you.
Which factors are very human, that I believe we can do a lot about it. We are not... MPP, NDC, concerned about those factors.
Okay.
What we are concerned about, what you just said, claiming credit when it's good, and running away from it when it's bad.
It is bad.
You understand what that's what we are doing.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's about time we thought of a policy. Look, Amin Anta is sitting there, a great mind. He has been a finance minister.
Yeah.
Okay? Deputy finance ministers, Stephen Sika and co, whatever. People who are, of course, not just them.
It's not Stephen Sika. Why are you doing that to him? It's Stephen Amoa.
Stephen Amoa.
A.K.A. Sika.
I call him Sika. You see, go to Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
We have people who are indeed experts when it comes to how to manage someone. Yes. And not just about being expert. Let's be practical, pragmatic about it.
Okay.
How can we sit on the table and say
I've just had that of story. Sorry for this.
Okay.
I've just had that of Stanbic Bank. Stanbic Bank.
Yeah.
Now, Stanbic Bank is selling the dollar at 13.5 and they are buying dollar at 12.45. So it's not too different. That's just a marginal difference.
Don't be surprised. Go there now. These are figures. Go there now and they'll tell you no dollar.
You mean I don't get it at 12?
I am saying go there. You will not get at that point. Look, they need to be displayed. Go and they'll tell you that they don't even have dollars in stock. You go there now. I challenge you.
Oh, but there is...
That's the point I made. Look, no. You can have... You see, these are rates... They are complying to Bank of Ghana's directives.
Okay.
Don't forget about that.
Yes.
Central Bank is actually watching. And Central Bank says that, look, this is where we have gotten to. These are the policy rates for you. Now, it gives to them. But go to the banks now, and I'm challenging you. That's why I'm making the point
banks
that...
don't have dollars?
Look, you'll be surprised that someone is sitting somewhere sipping his orange juice and has all the dollars.
You know,
and then the bank that is supposed to have give you 12 point something will tell you, I don't even have dollar in stock.
No, I won't be surprised.
You don't know that.
I'll be surprised.
That's why the problem is.
They'll give to Amochi.
They don't have it.
No, don't give to Amochi. It's not they don't have it.
You go and see. So you will see these things sitting on your books, but you get there, and in reality, they don't even have the dollar. So I'm saying that the arbitrage in the system is what actually is causing the whole thing. It's not about NDC,
no,
MPP. It's not about coming to say, well, figures NDC did well.
But have you seen data bank's analysis, the big data bank research on analysis on why the city is doing well? Now they're saying that they're saying that it's the central bank's support and improved sovereign credit ratings, and they're also talking about the gold reserve.
I mentioned that about 4.6 billion.
You know, because you see.
So how much gold did they add?
Yes, because you see, this time around, it's not just the dollar. And so when I hear people say that, well, the dollar is beginning to gain momentum and so on, I'm saying great. But if it were just about the dollar, then we can say that...
Other currencies also...
Exactly, but this one, the other currencies are also...
No, but how it operates is that...
also not fairly
inwardly
against the
or
city.
domestically, when your currency is gaining weight,
yes,
is appreciating,
yes,
it goes against all currencies within.
Right.
Because that it's to pretense. So of course it's not just the dollar. Or like when you go to UK now, or you go to Europe, the euro is a little bit higher than the dollar again.
Yes.
Strongly. It has gone a bit higher.
Yes.
So you see, some have also argued that the happenings in the international trade environment, where these tariffs matter from the US and other things, it also has come to damage the dollar in a way.
Yes.
Because China has taken a strong stance.
Interestingly,
Yeah.
the dollar has regained its strength by 3%. Are you aware? And whereas the CD has regained its strength by 5%.
By 5%.
And I'm saying I'm talking about this resurgence I'm talking about. It just happened just a few days ago because Trump is on the tour, is on an international tour, and he's had some discussions with the Chinese community, and they have agreed on something. Where now the tariffs have dropped drastically.
That is even.
And so all of a sudden the dollar is beginning.
Should not be too happy now.
We have not.
No, but
with the figures.
But you know why? You know why? When you speak to currency analysts and all, and some of the renowned economists in this town, they'll tell you that actually, in our case, those external factors have not really impacted that much on our currency.
Who says so?
Because of our own internal,
an import-based economy, it does not impact it.
No, I'm talking about our own internal arrangement. No. You've just mentioned them. One, goodwill. You said it.
Yes.
Two, the gold reserve plays a crucial role.
I know.
Because you see, look, what is this whole thing about? How do you call it? The strength of the cedi or the dollar. It's about the marginal forces of demand and supply. So where anytime there's more supply in the system, the dollar weakens. Because then there's abundance of dollar in the system, and so the dollar sort of loses a bit of its strength.
Basically.
So clearly what it means is that there's something that is happening which is right at the supply side of things.
Yes.
Right? And also at the demand side of things, something's happening
And
where
you think that
demand for dollar is going down.
And you think that happened within a month?
No. Of course, no. I will not be. Look, so I won't be one of those who would give 100% credit to this government because the gold reserve policy was something that you started.
Absolutely.
And so yes, you
except
you
for
have
you
every
to
right
now
to
come and say that you are buying entirely the gold. But we started and said, look, we identified the problem and said, look, if we cannot have gold, that we can keep showing our reserve to help us, fight this depreciation of the cedi. And then you come and say, no, it wasn't proper.
No.
Wonder. You disagree?
There's no. The MPP is just being haunted.
By what?
By what is happening.
Oh, well, we've been there. How can I be haunted by figures I've gotten before?
Economic figures that are being thrown out now. If the MPP had achieved half of that, the economy wouldn't have gotten to where we have gotten to. Now he talks about they having to achieve single digits when it comes to exchange rate. Exchange rate was in single digits when we handed over to you.
Right.
You took it to double digit and then claimed that you brought it to single digit again, which is not true. When you climbed after 9.9, you never got back to the single digit. So a few things account for what is happening with the cedi. Yes, the NDC cannot take credit for everything because the business of exchange rate is also geopolitics. And so there are other dynamics that plays when it comes to exchange rate. You talk about supply and demand. Yes, that's true. You talk about the gold policy. That's true. But if the gold policy, which they implemented for 1 whole year before they left office, was that good, what would have been the position of the cedi to the dollar at the time they were leaving office? If they had implemented it the way it should be, why didn't they have the needed impact? So indeed, the MPP can be ruffled by some of these figures, but the truth still remains that there is a better economic manager at post. Number one, when President John Mahama took office, even before we went to Parliament to present the budget statement, he had assured the international community, including those who had the haircut, that your payments are ready, and that I am committed to paying you all that is due you, true of us. And that could only endear investor confidence, and it's one of the reasons why you see the cedi beginning to behave the way it's behaving, because people are beginning to have renewed confidence in the cedi, in the government of the day, and in the management structure. The finance minister comes out to say that, listen, henceforth, we're not going to award contract and you go to site without talking to us. Before you go to site, before you begin your job, get a commencement certificate, because the backlog of people to be paid. For instance, in the road sector alone, they left a debt of about 38 billion. In ECG alone, 68 billion. You know, and then you see Cocoa Board and all the others.
The credit was talking about was relative to the gold reserve policy.
No. I'm saying that I'm saying that all those debts gives nobody confidence to invest in the economy.
Right.
You hear Ghana gas plant, coming up on stream. You think that if the economy was that bad, anybody would be interested in some of this? You just heard which of them? Cosmos Energy trying to invest $2 billion. You think that if the economy was bad, they are not sure of how you're going to pay your debt. They want to invest in your economy that much. So indeed, there is investor confidence being boosted by the activities of the managers of the economy. The MPP must come to grips with that. We are not saying that we have done some magic over the period, but we are saying that the mere fact, which his, Akufo-Addo, former president, said that money doesn't like noise. Is that not it? And that if you're doing the job, it will show. When the fundamentals are strong, the exchange rate will vindicate you. Very simple.
The only thing you left out is that you didn't say it in French. L'argent
n'est pas boué. That's what he said.
No, please, he didn't say that.
What did he say?
No, what you're saying. No.
Whatever
it is not French.
Whatever it is, nobody got it right over here. Yes. So, indeed, my brother, I'm saying that the economy is in good hands.
Okay.
The level at which President John Mahama has taken this economy, if we took that in all the period that they have been in office, we wouldn't be where we are.
So is that so? Someone
for all the time they were in office,
someone has just sent me the French translation.
It came close to mine.
L'argent n'aime pas le bruit.
Oh, I said it.
No, you say a bruit. That's what I said.
What?
You say a bui. You say l'argent a bui, and I said, no, I've never heard it before.
I didn't say a bui.
That's what I heard. Come on.
No, let me make
So let me correct you so that I don't get say it elsewhere. It's l'argent n'aime pas le bruit.
Yeah, but that's what I said.
Yes, and get l'argent a bui. So please, yes. Carry on.
So indeed, we need to have some introspection.
Okay.
The economy has been managed in a manner that has endeared confidence. To the extent that even the credit ratings are beginning to give us positive ratings. Is that not a plus that the MPP should celebrate with us?
Okay.
Now, in our budget, when we came out to, put together our budget and then, read to Parliament and all that, you will see certain austerity measures. A deliberate attempt to cut off waste, a deliberate attempt to reduce the size of government, a deliberate attempt to manage with a lot of efficiency. And that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Now, even this gold business, we used to have PMMC. Today is what?
It's Gold Board.
Gold Board. Do they have that under their tenure? We thought of a more holistic plan. In this, it's not only good for oil business that we're doing. We have decided that, look, we have not been able to rake in the needed revenues that should accrue to us in terms of gold in this country for all the 60 whatever years that we've been in this gold business after independence. What do? Restructure the whole environment. And that's what we're doing.
Okay.
We have been able to restructure the whole environment. So that you don't just get up now, get gold, cross border and think you are selling gold. Okay. You need a license to be able to buy the gold, and only government can trade in gold.
Okay.
You even saw people being arrested recently holding gold and all that. So indeed, there's some structural reforms coming up. It may not be as big as they are thinking right now, but the roots are being planted, and we're beginning to see the results.
Okay.
That's where I think that the
so
let me
bring in our viewers. They are very important to us. In fact, they are the reason we're here. They have been expressing their views on the topics that we've raised so far. So let me just quickly do this. Let me just quickly do this, and then we can get on with our next topic now. Mansa Musa, who is a broadcaster or journalist based in the UK, has sent a message. He says, Moro, what's going on that senior persons in charge of the country have all left our shores? This isn't an appropriate way of running a country. This isn't right. This shouldn't be happening. What is it about abroad and our African rulers? We have to call a spade a spade. Moro, why are we not asking why all of them have left the country? For what? Good morning from Mansa Musa in the UK. Currency exchange fluctuations predictably. Yes, stability. Okay, so currency exchange fluctuations predictability. Yes, stability never happens. Currency fluctuation every day on world markets. For Ghanaians to live comfortably, the dollar should reduce to about 5 cedis to $1. Then we will be laughing. Musa, you must also appreciate that we also export, and we must be careful. If the currency takes a massive nosedive, we'll also struggle in terms of our revenue. So we must be careful. No, we must be careful because we export quite a bit.
I'm on the side of Musa.
You want to come to $5?
Yeah, we export doesn't mean that our currency should be weak.
Yeah, no, but
I
look,
disagree.
It's a plus and minus, but we'll have that conversation.
Yeah,
we'll find time and have that conversation. Now, Ali Huraya, he's talking about Sami Jenfi. He appears to be more interested in Sami Jenfi. Maybe when we broach the Sami Jenfi topic, I can bring that in. Let me also look at this one. Okay, so he says that. Okay. For some reason, almost all my viewers and listeners in this case, because we're also live on 94.1 now, so they seem to be more interested in the Sami Jenfi matter. But speaking about why things are not actually. Speaking about why prices not going down despite the appreciation of the cedi. You know, FABAC has been talking on this matter. The Food and Beverage Association of Ghana has announced that the prices of key commodities within the sector have begun falling, with further reductions expected in the coming weeks. The association has indicated, however, that price reduction would be gradual, given that the current stock of goods in the markets might have been acquired at a previous higher exchange rates. The Executive Secretary of FABAC, John Awuni, told the Daily Graphic that it would take some time for the improved cedi to have an impact on local prices. He stressed that the expected impact would be more pronounced in the long term when the cedi's rise against the major currencies was sustained across a longer period. The cedi has moved from over 16 to $1 at the start of the year to less than 13.2 to $1 now, with market watchers predicting an even better outlook for the currency in the coming days. That only explains that the goods on the local market currently were acquired at a lower value of the cedi against the dollar and other foreign currencies, and that prices would not necessarily reflect the better strength of the cedi currently. The Ghana market is a credit market. If the old stocks of goods remain, it will take some time to have an impact on prices. We expect a reduction in prices, but it won't be overnight. It will be gradual. All right, so let's get on and look at our last topic. And we have 20 minutes? No, we actually have 15 minutes. So let's be very brief on this. And it has to do with our own friend and brother, Sami Jenfi, and the video that went viral. Now, we understand from today's dailies that of course, it went viral and there have been all kinds of reactions. Some defending him, some also being upset, and some say they are disappointed. So it depends on where you stand and what exactly your motive is. Now, the Daily Graphic today, and not just the Daily Graphic, but the Daily Guide have all been talking about he appearing before the Chief of Staff. And the Chief of Staff had summoned him, and we're even told that he's been handed over a query to respond to the issues that have come before him. Now, the Daily Graphic, these are the Daily Graphic reports. Sami Jenfi appears before presidency over a Grada dollar gift. Kester Abraham Kranche is reporting the presidency has engaged the acting chief executive officer of the Ghana Gold Board, Samuel Jenfi, for questioning following a viral video showing him handing out dollar notes to social media personality and church entrepreneur. I call her a self-styled evangelist. These things are making her look, nice and dandy. But anyway, Patricia Seed, who popularly known as Mama Pat or Agrada, according to reliable sources, the presidency, Mr. Jenfi, arrived at the Jubilee House in the morning of yesterday, where it is believed that he was engaged in a closed-door meeting to explain the circumstances surrounding the controversial cash donation spectacle. The viral video, which has sparked mixed reactions online, shows an exciting Agrada receiving dollar notes from Jenfi, who is also the National Communications Officer of the governing NDC, and thanking him for his generosity as she waved the dollar bills in her left hand. Now, it goes ahead to say eyewitnesses said Mr. Jenfi's demeanor as he left the presidency after the meeting was sober, an indication of the gravity of the discussion. Now, while the presidency has not issued an official statement, insiders indicate that the matter is being treated with all the seriousness that it deserves. Now, the development comes amid heightened public scrutiny over the conduct of political appointees and public figures, particularly regarding financial transactions and their implications. Now, It says that only a week ago, President John Dramani Mahama launched a set of code of conduct for government appointees which provided strict guidelines on public conduct and lifestyle, as well as directives on guides, gifts, and earned resources. During the launch, the president announced penalties for appointees who defaulted in filing their asset declaration forms against the directive by the president to do so by the close of March 31 this year. The defaulting appointees were to forfeit 3 months' salary, which would be donated to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, also known as the Mahama Care. Now, Mr. Samije Fee has apologized. He says, to all comrades, I am sincerely sorry for this unfortunate act of indiscretion. I respect and appreciate your views. Now, before I do that, let me read this one from McLean. He's a viewer from Seshi in the also in the Western region. He says, while we hear reports of the city appreciates, we must question the real impact of this development. How significant is it when the prices of goods continue to escalate and tariffs have seen serious increases? To claim that this represents an unprecedented act of economic virtue in the last 125 days of JM's administration is either a display of willful ignorance or an act of shameless propaganda. Such assertions not only mislead, but also discredit the intelligence of the very people who are struggling daily with inflated prices and rising prices. What's important is the daily impact on the life of the ordinary Ghanaian. That's coming from MD. That's from Seshi. Now, Wanda.
Oh.
How do you...
He wants to take it.
Yes. How do you...
take it.
avoiding the topic. In just 5 minutes.
Not at all. No.
So 5 minutes each. 5 minutes each.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about everything that's happened?
Well, I think that, you see, it's a difficult situation my brother Samije Mfi finds himself.
Yeah.
And I would set off with this submission by saying that, look, as political actors, we should try as much as possible each time we get an opportunity to sit on set, okay, to communicate, to avoid the argument of ad hominem. Why do I say so? Attacking personalities and putting issues aside without dissecting the issues and bringing out what actually ought to be or what should be done for the public to consume, for us to all shape our thinking, would not help us. Not too long ago, you see communicators of NDC, okay, virtually vilifying, maligning, insulting former appointees of government with a basis sometimes. Just because an act has been committed which you feel is wrong by the person. Has the person been taken through the process properly? Maybe no, at that point. So I'm saying that this argument of ad hominem, where let me put the issues aside and go and attack personalities so they'll say I'm a good communicator, is what sometimes lands all of us here. In any way, or in any case, on this matter, my brother Samije Mfi is on record by what you even just read, to have come out to apologize for that act of indiscretion, he calls it. Okay? Of course, it doesn't stop there. The chief of staff also has invited for the reports him to come out and say, you see, I feel sad where we sit sometime. It may be that genuinely. Why? If the amount involved, we are told, is about $800 or whatever.
We're not certain.
We're not certain. If the amount involved indeed is that, who says Kamal Dean or Wanda, a businessman or whatever, cannot have $800 and give it to somebody? Who says so? Who says that that amount is actually stolen from the national coffers? Who says so? Nothing has been established. But that act, because it's a public figure who has actually done that, it becomes a big issue, especially on the back of when Code of Conduct has only just been launched, and then we have been told. My advice to all of us, it's not just to Sami, all of us, and I have always held one thing: my growth is in the hands of Almighty Allah. That is my position. I don't buy artificial loyalty. I try as much as possible to relate. I do what I can do, but I don't force myself to do things that at the end of the day will see me as a proper politician. How are those things done? Let's use money and give to people to go and bloggers and whatever, make noise, be on Facebook and say Kamal is the best person. No, you didn't get here by your might. You didn't get here with your knowledge. It is favor from Almighty Allah. So on the Samir Jenfi matter, it's sad anyway, but it is an advice to all of us who are political actors, both NTP, NDC. Our demeanor in public, our way of doing things should be checked. And on the other side, to the public. Why do we think that any politician we see has money? No, it's a serious question. Look, sometimes you cannot even attend events. My friend will have an adore, I can't go because the point is that I've sat on TV and the perception is that once you sat on TV, you have so much money and then come and donate money to us. This is a serious matter. No, I mean, it happens not only to NDC or MPP. Look, all parliamentarians, ask them, they suffer it. All of us who are communicators on set, we suffer it. And you see, sometimes they do it in a manner as if you are owing, you must pay. The way they go about it, my brother, you will be embarrassed. Yeah? There's nothing you can do about it. You see, so I think, and yet we want to fight corruption. What hypocritical stance is that? You are telling me the person shouldn't steal my money. You are the same person telling me when the person appears, he has to share money. You know, I'm having a problem with it. And we suffer in the public. Trust me, look, you have no idea what we do. Sometimes, there was a time I was on the Spintex Road, stopped over to get my watch on the roadside. Kamal Dean, are you the one on TV? I say, no, but watch. Can you imagine this? So Kamal Dean cannot even buy watch on the Spintex Road. You see, it's a difficult situation my brother has found himself. But nonetheless, like I said, there are factors. First of all, nothing has been established to mean that, yes, maybe the money is taken from some public office. It has not been established that, yes, he cannot, where he sits, get that money to give out to somebody. I'm not saying it's little, but I've got that money to give to somebody. But you see, the difficult situation is that because of who he is and the position he holds, we should try as much as possible, or he and other people should try as much as possible to appear modest. Let's appear modest. And also when they get some of these things, they put people on the banner. The likes of Basintalis, and we put people on the banner. Let's insult, let's finish people. That is not what we do in politics. I am against it. I don't sit here and insult people baselessly. But of course, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And when I'm wrong, there must be factors that tells you that I'm wrong. So my brother, yes, those who may take him to the cleaners may refer to the past situations where he also decided that let me also take somebody to the cleaners without investigating to find out what is happening. However, our politics shouldn't be run that way at all.
Right.
The vehicle he is in, it may be that the vehicle is not even for him. It's possible.
Yeah.
Go and check. Sometimes I may say, oh, a friend should give me his car today. I don't have a car. I want to go somewhere. You may see me in that vehicle. And then but somebody will arrive at the conclusion that, oh, that he is even in a strong, beautiful Range Rover. It may not be for him. That happens. Okay, so it's just an unfortunate situation he finds himself in. But of course, it's an advice to all of us. They say if you don't know sleep, deaf, watch sleep.
Wonder. You have less than 5 minutes.
But why were you laughing? It's true.
Without any shred of doubt,
yes,
I support Samir Jenfi in this moment, without any shred of doubt, without looking back. The young man has been vilified beyond.
You support the act?
Beyond what you will call fair trial in the court of public opinion.
Oh, today there's that. There's fair trial.
The name mentioning, he tried to mention Basintali and all that. Who insults more than these MPP folks like Osu Bempa and his likes? Who insults more than them? Abronye can even insult one of their own flag bearers. And then you sit on TV to mention Basintali. Basintali hasn't gone after any of your leaders. He has done his job, as a communicator. And we are in power today, thanks to some of those people. So Samir has not offended any law, and therefore cannot be held criminally liable for any law. Indeed, Samir could have actually pressed charges for somebody invading his privacy. So? Because this was done in Samir's car. That's number one. Number two, I know Sami very well. At the age of 24, this is a young man who was employing over 50 people in his restaurant, in his pub. And he's well, he's seeing money a little. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. We're not trying to justify what has happened. But I'm saying that this MPP's position of trying to hang the young man and call him all kinds of names is unfounded.
About the caution public.
It's unfounded. I'm coming. It's unfounded because...
Stop this.
It's unfounded because this is a party that has just left government. We have seen these kinds of, opulence all over, never condemned it, never found the voice. Certainly they have found voice. And to talk about the one who even held the press conference, where did he find the money to run this campaign? So please,
did you just come to Ghana?
Sami may have done something that the public is not in agreement with, which we all agree. He has apologized for what has happened, but I think that his privacy was also infringed upon. Because if you see the video, the person was actually instructing Mama Pat's husband to give way so that he can take the pictures. Now, this is also another caution to people, officers who are supposed to protect some of these people in public, the security detail. Because what has happened, we're only looking at what he has done. What about if Sami was harmed on the day? Because for somebody to go all the way with the camera into his car, see that close, I mean, that is worrying. And for me, that's where I come from, that we need to find a way to put proper security structures in place around some of these people. Sami didn't hand over this money in public. He went to his car and took this money. So please, come on, please. So his privacy has been invaded. The call by the chief of staff is in order. We have just launched the code of conduct. It's in order, and the chief of staff will look into the matter. And I'm sure that this will come to a very beautiful conclusion. But on the side, I support Sami in this trying moment. It's very difficult to be against public opinion.
Isn't it interesting?
But we will get to the bottom of this. The MPP will not be the moral guide on this matter.
No, thank you. Our time is up. So let me do this quickly. So Sani Saliu is a regular video show. I beg, let me do this quickly. Now, Sani Saliu says we must give credit where credit is due. The US dollar has indeed swum offshore and is gradually finding its way into people's pockets. As we are discussing doomsday or dollar appreciation, for the records, there's no doomsday. It's just a domino effect of the reckless handling from the previous administration. Sali says this. And it says Sami Gyamfi's actions of benevolence, albeit indiscreet, hasn't violated any law status in Ghana. What he did hasn't met any threshold worth of sacking. As usual, expect the minority to blow things out of proportion. And then finally, Sam Kelly says, good morning, Mura. I think Honorable Sami Gyamfi's apology should be accepted. In life, we all slip and fall times, but we rise again. However, as research agenda leaders, avoiding sensationalism, especially among certain groups of people, must be avoided as much as possible. If it's about lending a helping hand, there are so many people around who can hardly afford a square meal in a day. Such are those who qualify to benefit from generosity and not agrad, as Sam Kelly from Eastleigh gone. Now, this one who is Ebo Bachman sends this message. It says, Sami Gyamfi's conduct is reprehensible, but not because it breaks any law, but due to its damaging optics. His apology is highly commendable, as it is the government's swift response, which reflects a commitment to high standards. However, the MPP's attempt to equate this with the Cecilia Dapa case is laughable and unjustified. The comparison is a clear case of false equivalence. The two situations are fundamentally different and should not be conflated. And goes ahead to say the Bank of Ghana's decision to raise their policy rate has impacted both inflation and the exchange rate, coupled with the government's fiscal discipline. These measures have contributed to stabilizing the cedi against the dollar. While external factors have played a role, key government decisions have also significantly influenced the stability. And this one from Prosper Ashikwe says, Morris, I support Sami Gyamfi, but he simply goofed. The optics were not good. Simple. He says that. Kojocho Mwafo also says, good morning. I just want to say a big good morning to Kamaluddin. Good morning, Keke. Today he says nothing, it's just good morning, Keke. Tafa in Amaya says, Audu, some of us who are not happy with the conduct of Sami Gyamfi, it's not about the money he gives, but it's about the person who received the money. This woman who was busy campaigning for Dr. Mahmoud Bami a few months ago did not deserve any money from a national communications officer. So let me say a big thanks to you, our viewers, for once again staying with us throughout the show. My name is Audu Moro. I was here with Wanda Madilo, who represents the NDC, and also Kamaluddin Abdullahi, who represents the NDP. Have a wonderful day, same time tomorrow. Inshallah, we'll be here. Bye-bye.
Every day in Ghana, a quiet revolution unfolds. A story of transformation, resilience, and unwavering commitment to create